Hey y'all, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we're going to be discussing the case for talking to your computer. So I've always been a quiet person who prefers to write than to talk, though this may not be obvious given the number of YouTube videos that I've published. And so it feels a little weird to say that I think talking to your computer is generally more effective than typing on it. But here we are. So in this post, I'll explain a bit about why I think this is true and the tools that I'm using to do so effectively. Talking over typing. So typing still has its place, but for a vast majority of use cases, I think talking will take over. Historically, typing was the primary way to provide input to a computer, at least after the age of punch cards. There's like punch cards, then you typed into the terminal or whatever. Then the mouse came along and many people started using that more than typing, at least for general navigation of their computer. But still, typing was the primary way to input text, right? You're writing down things, you're typing it. You are entering stuff into Excel, you're typing it. And now we have the rise of AI and LLMs and related tools that are able to take blobs of text and transform that into computers. You see that with Cowork, you see that with Quad Code, Codex, right? You're telling it to go read a file, it goes, figures out how to do that, and then goes and does the thing. And so that constraint is now gone, or at least I think is moving. And so the bottleneck now is away from the speed and accuracy of text commands, because you used to have to type every single character out yourself, and towards the speed of human to AI context transferal, because we have these AIs, LLMs, able to understand what we're happening or what we're trying to say, and then translate that into the actual precise commands that we wanted it to take. And so I kind of think of it like this. Typing is still useful when you want precise edits, when you're doing it for craft or for thinking. I think writing is thinking, and so taking the extra time to do it manually can deepen your understanding and connection to the piece. I like the phrase, like, you can outsource thinking, aka to an LLM, but you can't outsource understanding. And so I think, typing or, writing with pen and paper is still most effective to do this craft, to do this thinking yourself. I also think that typing will still remain useful and a primary way to use a computer, especially when you're in a scenario where like talking to your computer may not be great. So this might be loud places, conversation with friends, might also be workplaces, although I have heard some significantly large workplaces that do open floor plans using some of these tools pretty effectively, because you don't actually have to talk that loud. You can just kind of like whisper to it really lightly, and the computer can typically pick up 80-ish% of what you're saying. And then that's okay, because the AIs can usually, for context, figure out what you're saying anyway, because they don't actually read every word anyway. And so when is talking useful? So I think high-level direction versus precise edits, which is most of the prompting that we're doing to AIs now. Like, generally what we're trying to do is paint a picture for them of what we want to happen, and then we might go in and link a few things for it to go look up if we have specific cases. But typically what we're doing is giving it high-level direction, and then we rely on all of the systems around it, the harnesses, the context engineering, stuff like that, to help it understand what the precise steps are that it needs to take. And when we think about doing this, I think talking is way better for transferring a large amount of context quick. So most people can talk about 150 words per minute, while typical typing speed is closer to 60, with advanced closer to 100. And so even the base case of people just talking is going to be way, way faster than the best typist. And this is kind of what it looks like here. So typical typist, and I will say this is actually a strong man for typing. Most people actually type far slower than this. So typing typical is like around 60, but maybe closer to 40 or 50. Advanced typist is at 100, but usually closer to 70 to 90. And then a really fast typist, like let's say best case scenario, you're focused, you're locked in, you're not, making many mistakes, you might be at 120. But then just a random person talking can easily hit like 150. Like, I'm probably talking close to 100 words per minute here. And so this is probably not the worst case, but probably like the median case for talking, but it's still way, way faster than the best case for type. Okay, and so what am I talking to my computer about? Like, why is this even useful? So like I said, I'm a pretty fast typer at 120 words per minute, and so bumping up from typing to talking isn't that much of a change for me in raw speed, but this typing speed is typically under the best case scenario of talking's, typical 150 words per minute. And I've been finding that talking for context transferal is way easier on average and requires less of an activation cost. I can walk around the room, I can stare out the window over here, I can use one or no hands. Whereas if you are trying to hit that 120 words per minute typing, you need both hands, and you do need to be like focused on the computer and doing that. And I think one of the best use cases of AI and LLMs now is like brainstorming or spitballing. And oftentimes you don't know exactly what you want to do yet. And so allowing this kind of freedom for other ways to interact with the computer, I think is really cool. And so like I mentioned, one of the ways that I use talking is often for brainstorming or spitballing. These aren't fully formed. I'm just exploring an area. And so I can get a lot of nuance out of myself and have the AI clean it up into a polished doc if we're still like, figuring things out, trying to research things, go back and forth. I also use it a lot at work. So, I think the best way to share context is to have like a markdown doc. And then if you want to put it in mini prompts, you kind of link to it. But like, how do you create that markdown doc? And at this point, you could write it yourself, and you probably should for the core pieces. But there's a lot of pieces of context and edge cases that like you might know about, but the AI might not. And so it might think that's really important. And so having to type out the same things over and over is annoying. Eventually you put them into skills or whatever. But it can be much easier to just kind of start saying all the things that you want to say. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's the task. Here's the principles I want you to think about. We have those principles over here. So use those principles, but maybe skip this one for this case, and here's why. And then you can have the AI kind of take all that context, do the research, look at all the markdown files, do the web searches, and then compile it down into a markdown file. And then you can go use that across your mini prompts that want to reference it. And so I think it's just like way better at, lots of context transfer all at once, and also way lower lift for the human. Now I do want to caveat that I don't use this for everything. I think some text benefits from slower context transferal. Like for writing, I like to type it myself, so I'm thinking through every word I encode. I think for like core philosophies, systems, principles, like the first pass of like a really big project, like you really want to get that stuff super concrete and not leave it up to the non-determinism of AI's, generation of the thing. But I am increasingly thinking that that core foundational piece or memory of a project can actually be super, super small, like half a page of context probably, and then the rest can be built on top of that, and you can do more AI generation and reviews and reslices. And I think that's like more generally the best way to use AI today is you have a very strong deterministic core that is actually very small, an atomic core, if you will, and then you use that to leverage AI for all of the non-determinism outside of it. But you always have that core to come back to because everything else can be regenerated from it. But if the core gets messed up, then, the whole thing is on shaky ground. So going forward, I'm going to mainly be talking to my phone and computer. I have to imagine that most other people will as well. Like I think about my mom, my brother, my wife, who all, poke type at their computer, and moving to speech is going to vastly improve their ability to interact with their computer. Like we're still early days now, so I'm even only using this to type things out or to give prompts to the AI. But I have to imagine that we're pretty close to a world where you can tell the computer what you want to open up. Like you don't have to search through your start menu or whatever to find a program. You're just like open Steam, open OBS or whatever it is, and then start to be able to drive more and more programs that way. And I look at people who haven't, learned to touch type, and I still think it's important, but I'm like, is this going to go the way of cursive where, I learned cursive in school, everyone else who did, but now I look at the younger kids and they're not learning it at all. And I haven't used cursive in like 15 years, and I just probably never will. And so I just think that, the lower activation energy and also potentially the higher effectiveness, especially as LLMs get cheaper, better at translation, which is almost a solved problem, at least for English. I think that's probably the path of least resistance going forward. Okay, quick aside on my current tools for talking to my computer. So at work, we're using WhisperFlow. This is on my Mac. I think it's on Mac and Windows, but I'm not using Windows anymore. I just have a company subscription, so I just use that. It's fast, it's easy, has good dictation, some cool things on top. So pretty solid there. On my personal Fedora machines, I've been using HAMY. This is open source software, and there's lots of models to choose from. It runs locally. It has the same push to talk as WhisperFlow, and it works great on my Sway setup. Should also work great for KDE, GNOME, etc. And I will note that it's not quite as fast or precise, but it is free. It is local only, and it doesn't really matter when you're handing all of this off to AI for the same reason that when you whisper and it's only 80%, that's actually usually good enough for the AI to figure out what you're trying to say. Same with these models. And I think looking forward to like, where does AI bring us? I think, the big labs will probably be the ones that are building like super intelligence and AGI. But the level that we are at currently, I think the open source labs are catching up very quickly. And this is just going to be like table stakes for how we use computers in the future. This kind of level of LLM intelligence was probably the baseline of where we go. And so HAMY's great, would highly recommend it, or at least giving it a try. And then for my phone, I just use the built-in dictation on my Samsung Galaxy. I think, Apple, most major Android phones from like a Google, a Samsung, etc., all have this built in. And so just use that. It's fast. I think it's local based on the speed of it, but I don't know. And you usually don't have to pay for it. And if you like this post, you might also like how I use Claude Code as my personal assistant from my phone, how to use Vim and Claude Code, and finally, how I actually code with AI as a senior software engineer. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next